In celebration of the town of Versailles' Bicentennial, Main Street Versailles proudly presents Our Town's History.
James Henry Tyson was born in Versailles on September 14, 1856, in a brick home located at 112 North Main Street on the east side of the square. He attended school through the 5th grade. A year or two later, he was baptized at the Versailles Methodist Church on September 6, 1868. Jim's first job was as a newspaper delivery boy for the Ripley Index. He eventually learned the printing trade at the local newspaper and became an itinerant printer when he was 15 years old. While in Chicago, he lived in the same boarding house as Charles Walgreen, and the two soon became close friends. At that time, Mr. Walgreen had just one drugstore. One evening, Walgreen mentioned that if he had $1,500, he would buy another drugstore nearby. Jim Tyson loaned him the money, and that was the beginning of the Walgreen Drug Company. He kept his office in Chicago and took charge of the company's insurance. On June 12, 1930, Uncle Jim set up a trust called Tyson Fund with 18,000 shares of Walgreen stock, worth about $74,000. The trust stipulated that a new Methodist church be built to the glory of God in the memory of his mother, Eliza Adams Tyson. The Tyson Temple United Methodist Church was built in 1937 at a cost of $150,000. Today the church is insured for $3.5 million. It is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. In 1938, Uncle Jim's Tyson Fund provided $105,000 to build a water and sanitary sewer plant in Versailles. Also, in 1942, Uncle Jim Tyson's fund provided $70,000 to help build a new Versailles school, now the home of Tyson School Apartments. The school was built by W. A. Gutzweiler Company of Batesville and cost $140,000. The trust fund also required the building of a public library. The Tyson Library opened on April 30, 1942. More than 100 people borrowed books during the first 4 days. Today the library's budget exceeds $280,000. Tyson Auditorium was added in 1950. The Tyson Fund provided $118,000 of the $178,000 total cost. Today, this facility is the Tyson Activity Center, where both young and old can participate in basketball, baseball, pickleball, aerobic exercise, and weightlifting. The Tyson Fund provided $750,000 in 1998 to build the Tyson Waterworks Water Tower, located on Clearview Lane. The fund continues to be administered by the trustees of the Tyson Temple United Methodist Church. Annual disbursements are always held on Uncle Jim's birthday, September 14th. Uncle Jim knew both poverty and wealth. Simple things seemed to affect him more than the things his money could buy. He never married, and he traveled the world with a cardboard suitcase he bought at a Walgreens store. Uncle Jim died in Chicago on November 1st, 1941, of complications of pneumonia. He was 85 years old. He is buried in Cliff Hill Cemetery next to his parents. His grave is marked by a 21-foot-high obelisk made of Vermont granite, a gift from his many friends. The memorial monument was dedicated on May 30th, 1948. The bronze plaque reads, "In loving memory of Uncle Jim." Today, the Tyson Fund is worth approximately $19.5 million. James Henry Tyson left an immeasurable legacy, one that will live on for many future generations of the Versailles community.
So Uncle Jim grew up in town and he had friends. The original trustees of our church were all his old friends. They never had an idea of how wealthy he was in Walgreen. And I have kept fresh flowers on his grave probably 60 years because I want people, when they see this monument that's 20 feet tall and it has a nice brass plaque that they put on and has his mom and dad's monuments, and they're so old. And his was just a very ordinary granite, I suppose, and had Uncle Jim and his birth date and death here. He said that's enough because what he did for Versailles was his monument. Well, of course it is. When you see that monument, you know, and of course when they see fresh flowers, I hope they think, well, we still care.
This video was made possible by the town of Versailles. Thank you for your support.